all new Dr. Phil. They call their ex a compulsive liar.
Widower, millionaire. You make women believe you're somebody you're not.
It's time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
Today.
Children, women, you con everyone.
Asking me to have sex with you after we had broken up because you claimed that you had cancer.
You are literally a cancer.
Is a life of deception.
He told her that you were racist.
That's a flat-out lie.
How does that feel?
About to catch up with him.
His ex-wife, who he claimed was dead, is alive. What she has to say. Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, yesterday, I sat down with Tiffany and Sheikah, who accused their ex-boyfriend Erik of being a liar and a con man. Now, they said Erik told them he was a millionaire and promised to buy them luxury cars and mansions. But those were lies, he told, which they say reminded them of well-known con artist and criminal Dirty John Meehan. Now, Erik admitted he lied, but claimed he never intended to scam Tiffany and Sheikah. Well, here's what happened yesterday.
Erik told me he went to Stanford University. He played for the 49ers. I was completely amazed by all of the things that he had done. Erik is a complete con man. He's a fraud. He lied to me about everything. I felt like it was a scene out of the TV show Dirty John. After we had been together for about a year, I found out that I was pregnant. I was not happy. All Erik was a stack of lies and empty promises.
He's like a locust. He goes from place to place and person to person, sucking all of the resources out of whatever it is. And once he gets everything that he wants, he's on to the next.
Tiffany is not the only person from Erik's past. Another ex-girlfriend is here.
I feel like Erik is a con man who's mastered the art of manipulation. Erik even said that he had cancer and it was in remission, and that was a lie. I felt betrayed, and I felt that he has some serious mental health issues. But I went out and purchased a gun. Erik is capable of anything.
Well, I made a list of lies he told you as well. Mother was out of the country, but told you he was dead. But he was inheriting millions.
He told me he had already inherited millions from his grandfather, who was in organized crime before he passed away.
There's a much darker pathology here than just a pathological liar. He is absolutely uncaring about what that's going to do to you. He hasn't seen Tiffany in over 3 years and says, as for Sheikah, she is just as much a liar as he is.
I've let a lot of people down because of my chronic lying. It makes me feel guilty and sad. My hope is that somebody can tell me what's wrong with me.
How do you feel seeing Tiffany right now?
It's hard because I know that I hurt her. We have a son together.
If you have a son together, why haven't you seen her for 3 years?
Tiffany cut all contact off with me. She warned me, if you don't start telling me the truth, I'm going to be done with you. Completely justified.
This was not about you telling the truth. This was about you establishing paternity if you genuinely wanted to be a father to your son. You didn't even bother to show up for the appointment so that you could sign the birth certificate. Let's call a spade a spade.
You have 4 kids that you know about.
Yes, we video
But
chat
you
and
haven't
whatnot.
seen your sons in 11 years, and you have 6 or more kids. It's not just 4. You probably have at least 20 children. You probably got someone pregnant while you were here. Nothing's funny. Nothing is funny. It's not funny at all.
So when did Erik begin to lie and deceive people? His mom says she knows exactly how it all started.
I would receive a call from a young woman, and she says, does he have a private plane and a runway? I said, no. I said, Erik is unemployed and lives in my basement.
He has a problem. This isn't something that a normal person does. He lies constantly.
We know that. Are you telling me that when you are walking this woman and this woman through these big mansions and telling them you're going to buy them this house and bringing in contractors and doing all this, when you're doing that, you full well know that's never going to happen, correct?
Absolutely.
All right, so my point is, when you're doing that, you are showing an utter and reckless disregard for the feelings and emotional well-being of other people. It's not just lying. You are showing a lack of empathy, caring, and feeling for somebody else. You're creating a hero moment for you and paying no attention or concern to the fact that it's going to hit the wall and they are going to be devastated, betrayed, and in emotional collapse and turmoil because they have believed in someone that had no intention, was lying when you said it, knew it was never going to happen, and gave no regard or consideration to the impact it would have on someone else.
I would have to agree with that, absolutely.
Okay, that's the pathology. The lying is just the tool to get there. Now, I'm asking why you have such vicious disregard for this woman and this woman that you would want to hurt them that bad.
And this woman.
I never saw it the way you just explained it. I never looked at Tiffany and said, you know what, I want to hurt this woman.
Okay, well then answer me this. Answer me this. Then play this out for me. What did you think was going to be her internal dialogue when she found out that that was all a lie? She wasn't going to move into that house. You weren't going to, you didn't close on it the way you said, that all of those dreams, all of those plans, all just a scam, a con, a lie. What did you think her internal dialogue was going to be?
I never thought that it would come to that. I always thought that...
No, wait a minute. No. We just covered the fact that you knew when you were walking through that house, you were never going to buy that house. You were living in your mother's basement or whatever. You knew you didn't have the money to buy, you couldn't pay the utilities in that house, let alone the down payment or the mortgage or the taxes. You knew you would never buy that house. You knew it when you were walking through it. So don't tell me you didn't know that it would ever come to that. You knew you would never buy that house. You knew she would never sleep a night in that house when you were walking through it telling her it was one day going to be hers.
What I mean by I didn't mean that it would come to that. I never thought out the process of eventually, hey, this isn't gonna be able to happen, and then how is that gonna affect her? I never thought about how it would affect her and that it would hurt her. I don't know if it's a situation where, you know, obviously I lied and I led her on, and she didn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that at all.
So you're telling me that you're so immature that you never thought far enough ahead that this is going to hit a wall and she is going to be faced with, that Sheikah is going to be faced with the reality that their dreams, their commitments, their plans have all been a facade, a fantasy.
I just never thought about the consequences of it. I didn't care how it would affect me. But
that's really immature to say you haven't even thought of that. But yet, having transgressed in that way, you sit here self-righteously and sanctimoniously reading her the riot act.
Nobody's reading. I'm not trying to read her the riot act.
I've done
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Y, and then to play semantic and say, well, I didn't do Z. I didn't do Z. That's not really fair. I'm not here to debate. What I'm here for is to say I have a problem, and I would like to have it fixed.
No,
you lie about
you're right,
everything.
Sheikah. You're right. You guys don't have the market cornered on heartbreak.
This isn't about heartbreak. This is about manipulation. It's about time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
He said that he was going to buy me a house. He was going to buy me a car. He was going to marry me.
Marriage, yes. House, yes. Car. He actually finally bought me a car, and then they came and repossessed it. Did he say he played for the 49ers?
Yes.
Stanford.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
3 master's degrees.
Oh, yeah. Did he tell you that his mother passed away?
No. She was still alive, but he wasn't talking to her anymore.
Yeah, he said that she was dead and gone, and then I found her on Facebook.
He told me that he was just part owner in some resorts.
And you planned a trip to go and never did?
It never happened.
Oh, wait a minute. Helicopter pilot?
Yes.
So did he talk about Rosa?
Yes.
The nanny?
His imaginary maid. Rosa was supposed to be bringing my engagement ring from California.
You got an engagement ring?
No, she never showed.
There's not a lick of truth in anything he told me.
He told me that his ex-wife was killed by a drunk driver, and that wasn't true. And he told me that he was a wonderful father, and that wasn't true either.
He never really said, I'm sorry. It was just another lie to cover the lies.
When I think about Erik, he's the biggest ass I've ever met in my life.
I concur. I think
Yes.
I agree 100%.
You con businesses, you con hospitals, you con children, women, you con everyone. You're like a cancer. You lie and say you have cancer, but you are literally a cancer. And if people do not get away from you, they will not survive. You do not care about yourself. You don't care about anyone.
No,
you
he
lie
doesn't.
about
You're right,
everything.
Sheikah. You're right. He doesn't. You know, you guys don't have the market cornered on heartbreak here.
But it's not,
I've
doesn't
lived
matter,
it.
But you're taking
this
up
is
for
not
him.
about heartbreak.
You don't
This is
need to
about
take up for him. You don't need
premeditated
to
lies
take up
that
for
have been
him.
told over and over and
To me
over
as
again
well.
to multiple women over and over again.
His
There is
mother as
nothing
well.
unique that you tell any single woman. We sat and we compared stories. As a matter of fact, Sheikah would call me and she'd say, Erik just told me this. I said, all right, be ready because he's going to tell you this next. And then she'd come back and say, you know what? He did exactly what you said. You don't have anything original that you give anybody. So I don't understand how we can make the excuse that this is about heartbreak. This isn't about heartbreak.
It's not
This is about
just heartbreak.
manipulation.
You bet it
This
is.
is about
He even gave us a
You
free
bet it
pass.
is.
manipulation.
I
This is not
experienced
heartbreak.
it
This
as
isn't
well.
about hurt feelings.
I
I said
experienced
he
it
was
as
a
well.
lazy liar. There are common lies that he tells everybody, and I made a list of them because I've talked to different women. Lost wallet and ID, widower and 2 kids, nanny, from California, millionaire, NFL, 49ers, Stanford grad, Google, owns restaurants, owns real estate, last name Williams. I mean, you kind of have a shtick you run on everybody, right? You've worked this out.
Obviously.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that I necessarily worked it out.
You worked it out.
It's a situation. I lied. I did wrong. I didn't come here to the Dr. Phil show to get a free trip to LA. I came here because
Yes, you did. It was a free place
No,
to
he
stay and
didn't.
free
Will
food.
you
stop?
It was. It was a free place to stay.
I
You
understand.
make me stop.
I
You do
understand that you want it to be all about you because you're hurt, and that's
Oh,
fine.
no, it's
whatever.
not all about
I
me.
didn't come
It's all
here-
about saving
I didn't-
someone, 'cause I
didn't
think that
come
you're
here-
capable of murder.
I did
That's
not
what it's
come
about.
here to be
You're a
for
sociopath.
a free trip. I knew that I was going to get ran over, and justifiably so. I hurt people, I've lied, I've done all of these things. I came here was hoping that I would be able to get some help, and I knew I was going to get run over the bus. They're going to run me over. Tiffany's mad. Sheikah's mad. They're both hurt. I did them
I'm
wrong.
not hurt,
I understand that.
Nor am I mad. It's about time that you get held accountable for what you've done.
Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable. I knew I was going to get ran over here. I knew I was going to get ran over here.
Well, I'm asking you questions. I mean, I'm just asking you questions. I'm probing at this point. Tiffany and Sheikah say Erik may be dangerous, but his ex-wife, who he claimed was dead, is actually alive. What she has to say may actually surprise you. I'm going to add that to the mix when we come back.
Asking me to have sex with you because you claimed that you had cancer.
That was all a lie.
Yes, sir, it was.
I'll give Erik credit for one thing. He can sure charm people.
Not being a very attractive man, I've always been able to date extremely beautiful women.
Erik has the market cornered on how to pick up women. He knows exactly what women want to hear.
He likes smart women. It's almost like the thrill of the chase, being able to conquer somebody who has the intellect that he has. Erik needs to know that eventually the luck runs out. Game over.
Well, Tiffany and Sheikah say their ex-boyfriend, Erik, who they claim is a con artist, was not their type initially, but his intelligence and personality drew them in. Now, looking back at things now, they admit that their relationship quickly escalated and they missed red flags. Now, here are some of the red flags that were overlooked. Even though there were stories of riches, there was no money, there was no ID. I mean, he's wearing old clothes, there's no home, you never met any family or friends. The relationship moved really fast, the promises were empty. When you look back at this, if the person that you know, and I'm saying this as much for people that are watching, because this is a teachable moment, if you're talking about someone of substance, a man or a woman, they usually have a footprint in life, right? I mean, there's usually relationships, family, businesses, associates, friends. It's like a boat going through the water. They've left a wake. And here you meet somebody, there's no wake behind this boat. There's no friends, there's no family, there's no home, there's nothing. They just all of a sudden are there. They've got no ID, they don't even have a wallet. And I wrote a book called Life Code, and in Life Code I talked about this concept of the benefit of the doubt, because I was raised as a Christian and we were taught, look for the good in people and give them the benefit of the doubt. That's insane. You shouldn't give people the benefit of the doubt, nor should you condemn them. What you should do is gather data to make an informed decision.
There was data. She had data. She went and saw him in the hospital. She read his real name on the hospital chart. That would have been the biggest red flag for me. I'm sorry, but if somebody is going by, excuse me, I'm speaking.
No, I don't care. You're not going to try to throw me under the bus.
Someone is going by a name that they're not supposed to be going, and you're looking at a chart, and you're seeing that there's another name, guess what? I'm going home and I'm Googling.
Are you trying to say it's their fault?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that would have been a big red flag for me to say, hey, wait a minute.
Well,
why is he telling me his name is this, but it's actually this?
Okay, good for you. Here's something that I might suggest. You say he's been a liar since he was a child?
Absolutely.
Then you might want to mention that to the women he drags up when you first see them.
I never met him.
Well, when that happens, you might want to put that in the intro when you first meet them.
This is why I never knew, was because I never knew they existed.
Well, I've heard from some of the people that were on this timeline, Martha, and I have a statement from her, and this is the one that supposedly was dead, but isn't. I was married to Erik in 2004 to 2008. We have 2 sons. When we got married, he started to lie to me. I lost trust in Erik when our coworker told me Erik was cheating on me. The coworker told me he was taking another woman to the bathroom at work to have sex with her. The lies and cheating caused us to separate. Erik by nature is trustworthy. He wouldn't steal from you. He just has a problem with lying. Erik tends to embellish his job status and how much money he makes. Erik is not a dangerous person, and I would trust our kids with him. I don't believe Erik is a con man, but is in survival mode. When Erik is stable, he's an amazing father, but he is not stable right now. So that's what Martha had to say. Are you dangerous?
I think in a sense, I am dangerous as far as, I would emotionally and probably mentally hurt somebody because of the lies that I tell. As far as physically, no. I've never raised my hand to a woman. I've never beat anybody.
Why did you have a personal protection order against you for 2 years?
That's something that you mentioned. I've never been served. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I still don't know anything about it. You also claimed online when you did or you didn't post my cheerleader profile, you said I'm a felon, which I'm not.
You would be a felon. I don't care if you're talking.
I don't care.
I do.
You would be a felon.
I do.
You just want to talk about yourself. That's fine.
Both of you stop. It doesn't help if 2 people are talking at once. Say what you're saying. Go ahead and say it.
I agreed to come on the Dr. Phil show because I was like, holy crap. I did damage to that woman that I didn't even know that I did.
You didn't know that asking me to have sex with you after we had broken up, after everything was done, knowing that I was trying to repair my life, repair the damage that you had done to me psychologically and spiritually, if not anything else, that asking me to have sex with you because you claimed that you had cancer and in order to be able to have the treatments done and you see me crying in a car, that's not something you realize you hurt me with?
No, I didn't. And I apologize.
Then you
for
are
that.
Completely oblivious of everything.
I was oblivious, yes, I was. And for that, I'm truly sorry.
I'm sorry means absolutely nothing.
I'm sorry, he told you what?
Thanks, Dr. Phil. He said that he had cancer, testicular cancer. I told him to go pay for it if he absolutely had to, but because he knew that I was empathetic, because he knew that we had that connection, because he knew that I wouldn't want anything detrimental to happen to him, he was willing to use that with me so that I felt bad enough that I was willing to do something like that.
Did you?
And I did.
Well, it took 17 years, but I finally asked one too many questions.
Thanks, Dr. Spill.
Well, I asked a question, you gave an answer. And so that was all a lie.
Yes, sir, it was.
That's really
Yes, it is. Yes,
two
it is.
more ex-girlfriends say they're ready to speak out against Erik and his actions. We'll hear from them next.
We're here to be honest, right? Let's be honest. And rightfully so.
Honest that you take up for
Rightfully
him
so.
and you don't need to because he needs help and he is dangerous.
I feel like Erik is extremely reckless. He's completely clueless about the amount of damage that he's done in my life and other people's lives.
Some of his ex-girlfriends have ended up homeless and lost their jobs.
I've pretty much had enough of Erik's behavior, especially regarding children. So Erik has agreed to have a vasectomy. He needs to stop right now, and that's the way to guarantee it. Put him out of commission.
If somebody says I'm reckless or dangerous, I would wholeheartedly disagree with it. You know, I may hurt your feelings, but you're never in any physical danger with me.
I said there are two other women that have weighed in. I have statements from them. I want to share them. One is from Courtney. It reads, Erik and I were together when I was in college in 2010 and on and off until about a year ago. I was lied to constantly, made to look a fool in front of my friends and loved ones. I was told of businesses and properties that may have existed but never in the hands of Erik Williams. My best friends and I were promised an incredible spring break vacation on his yacht. I typed up invites and special instructions. We packed up my best friend's truck and drove to Galveston to wait at an empty shipyard for a boat that never showed because it was never real. Promises of weddings, houses, condos, families, and cars that never came to exist. Now I have a hard time trusting men. I was angry with myself for spending so much time with a man who didn't have my best interest at heart. So that's Courtney. Then Tori says, I met Erik Xavier Williams, October 2016 on a dating website. He was a widower, single father of two, entrepreneur, and Stanford University graduate. Erik had the gift of gab, and often I would call him a used car salesman because he was always pitching something. Erik came to the first date with an overnight bag and a tale that his wallet and ID were stolen. Erik would occasionally disappear to go to work, but I later found out he had another girlfriend during the same time. Erik vowed to help pay rent. After all his delusions of grandeur and false promises, I got evicted. May 2018 and had to move in with friends so my daughter could finish school. Erik showed at my friend's house and stayed 1 week in June of 2018. It was the last time I ever communicated with Erik Xavier Williams. My hope is he stops preying on vulnerable women and leaving debt and babies in the wake of his antics.
Agree.
What do you say about what those two have to say?
I would say that they're absolutely valid.
Okay, so there's an anonymous website on cheating, and there's been some things posted on there that are posted by anonymous, the truth about you.
It's not anonymous, it's her. It's not a secret.
Did you post that stuff up there?
That's something I don't really want to talk about.
Okay, that's all right. And it just says the truth about Erik, sociopath, narcissist, widowed, wallet, just all the stuff that we're talking about here. So you're not saying whether you posted it or not, but you certainly would have. You certainly would have had the experience to have posted it. I mean, you could have.
Anybody can post on there.
Yeah, but you sent me a copy of it, so I know you posted it. I mean, we're here to be honest, right? Let's be honest. You posted it, and rightfully so.
Honest that you take up for him and you don't need to because he needs help and he is dangerous.
I don't stick up for Erik. I do not.
You did yesterday and you are today.
He
told me that you were physically and sexually abusive to him. He told her that you were racist.
Was not.
He told other women that you were dead.
I'm not.
So he tried to keep us away from you.
Wait a second, I told you my mom's racist?
You
That's
told
a
her.
flat-out lie.
His mom
You're
is not
lying.
racist.
How does that
Okay,
feel?
well, that is what I was told. That I was told that by your mother.
Are you currently
I was
pregnant?
told that by your mother.
Stop for a minute. Stop for a minute. You just said she just told an ugly lie about you. How does it feel?
I got it coming. I totally got it coming. Dr. Phil, I knew when I came here that I was going to get ran over the bus.
How does that feel?
It feels bad.
For her to...
It feels bad, and I deserve it. You know, the crowd, you know, obviously they take some sort of liking to it, and I should. I'm a jerk.
I talked about the lack of empathy. We did what we call screen grabs of your face while they were talking about their pain. I talked about the lack of empathy, and you know, while these two were kind of sharing some of their emotional pain, we did what we call screen grabs of your face while they were talking about their pain. An absolute lack of compassion, emotion, just really certainly no emotional connection. So you know, you said that you came here to get some help, and this is it. You know, empathy is really important. And what does that mean to you? This isn't a test, but what does it mean to you? If you don't know exactly how to describe it, it's okay. I'm just curious what it means to you.
I think empathy and sympathy are very similar.
They're not at all.
I think that being able to put yourself in somebody's shoes and understand how they feel.
That's empathy.
Is extremely important. As I said to Tiffany earlier, I did things and said things to her that were evil. I really believe that. Mm-hmm. And I hurt her, and I don't think I ever realized how bad I hurt her until just now. And I'm trying to listen to her and trying to listen to Yashika so that I can understand exactly what I did to them.
Well, I want to show you a list of, there's a lot of research about why people lie. Like, number one is to take what's not rightfully theirs. Like, take credit for something they didn't earn or do. So they lie to take what's not rightfully theirs. Like, I did this, or I earned this, or I have this credential or something. They take what's not rightfully theirs. They do it to escape accountability. Like, I didn't do that. I didn't, you know, I'm not the guilty party here. Or to create a fantasy, a false self-esteem to escape their mundane life.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
To avoid punishment, to inflict pain on others, to feel better in the moment, to steal admiration, you know, to get a hero moment, to gain an advantage, to exploit others. When you look at these, I mean, do they all fit? Do some of them fit? What do you think fits you here?
I would say all of them, except for inflict pain. I don't ever go into a situation hoping to inflict pain on somebody.
I think from looking at it, this most definitely, you create this alter ego. You create a fantasy of false esteem to escape a mundane life. I mean, you make up all of these things. You don't tell people who you really are, and that you don't have a job, that you're living with your mother, that you don't have any money. So you create, oh, I'm going to buy you a mansion and cars and all of this. You create a fantasy of false self-esteem to escape the reality of who you are. So, I mean, that seems to be very clear. This seems to be very clear because it's tied to that. You certainly do it to feel better in the moment. I mean, you get those hero moments, and you definitely do it to gain an advantage and exploit others. That's how you get women. I mean, you make them believe you're somebody you're not. And you say you don't do it to inflict pain, but yet you certainly inflict pain. So you're all up and down the list. Now, these aren't the only reason people lie. I mean, for those of you at home, people also lie to protect others' feelings sometimes. You know, there are moral reasons actually to lie, but I'm talking about when you're lying in a toxic way. And you ask if you can get better. You know, it really depends. And there are some things you have to do and some things you guys have to do if this dynamic is going to change at all. And I'm going to tell you what it is after the break. Now, while we're in commercial break, I want to ask a couple of questions of all of you guys. Who here has subscribed to my new podcast, Fill in the Blanks? Yeah! Raise your hand if you have. Okay, so have you?
Yeah.
You subscribed?
Yes, I have.
All right, you enjoying it?
I love it.
All right, see, you hear that? She subscribed. Now, how old are you?
19.
19, of course she subscribed. 19-year-olds do this like that, right? Bang, bang, bang.
Fingers.
Okay, who has not subscribed? Fess up. You've not subscribed? Stand up. The hell are you thinking? So you've not subscribed?
I have not, no.
Why?
I don't know.
Get your phone out. Everybody get your phone out. Okay, let me show you how. Do y'all know what fill in the blanks is?
Yes.
You don't even know? Okay. I'm doing a podcast, which is different from the Dr. Phil show in that I get to talk to all kinds of people and I don't have to solve problems. I want to tell you how to do it. We're going to all subscribe right now. Don't worry, it's free. Doesn't cost you anything. All right, everybody get your phone out and turn it on and go to your home screen and find this little purple icon that looks like a microphone. Click on it, and then in order to find mine, go to where it says search, and you click on the little magnifying glass, and then type in fill in the blanks. Now, when you go to fill in the blanks, there's a little button here that says subscribe.
Yeah.
Push that. Bang, you are subscribed.
I'm done.
What do you think of that?
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Now, in my new episode that drops today, it's called Living by Design, I'm going to partner with you to discover who you are and, more importantly, how you got there. Take a look. I'm starting a series where I'm talking about filling in the blanks in your lives. I want you to get an edge in your life. The only person you have to control to make a huge change in your life is you. What I want you to do is start living by design. I want you to have a definition of what success is in your life. I want us to come away with a plan that you can get excited about. And that's what this series is all about. Like in that particular episode, I'm talking to you about how not to become emotionally bankrupt, so you're not there for the people that you care about and care about you. And I'm going to ask you a really serious question in this particular episode, which is, how much fun are you to live with? Now, have you ever thought about that? Just how much fun are you to wake up with every single day? And if the answer is not much, you need to listen to this one twice, okay? And then at some point in this series, I'm going to give you the 7 core characteristics of a champion that I've put together over the last 30 years. You're not going to believe that. They're there every time somebody winds up being a winner. And then other times I'm talking to celebrities like Shaq, I've done Jay Leno, Kathy Bates, just all kinds of people, and you're going to find out things about them you didn't know, you just thought you knew. So in order to start living by design, subscribe to Fill in the Blanks today so you don't miss an episode, because it starts today. It's entertaining, it's enlightening, and more importantly, it's free, okay? All right, we got to get back to the show. All right. Tiffany, Sheikah, I want to start with you two. There's power in forgiveness. And I want to say that forgiveness has nothing to do with the person you forgive. It has nothing to do with them deserving or not deserving forgiveness. It has nothing to do with them making amends or anything of the sort. Forgiveness is all about you. Because if you are locked in bitterness, hatred, angst, anger towards somebody, that's a lot of energy invested in that person. It's like you're locked into a bond with them, because you've got to say, I withdraw from this, and you know, judgment is God's job, not mine. So you go forth and do whatever you're going to do. I'm moving on, and I really hope that you will do that. You have come here, thank you very much for doing this, by the way, and you have helped not just people that might encounter him in their lives, you have helped millions of women. We're on all over the United States and something like 50 foreign countries. People are watching this that'll say, you know what, I need to start checking a few things out with this new guy. You have helped millions of women in relationships. They're going to say, I'm going to get out my computer and start checking some stuff out about this old boy. So by having the courage to share your story, you've used your lives and your experience to help millions of women, and thank you for doing that. Here's the problem. You know, emotionally, you're very immature. I mean, it's stunted in some way. I can't diagnose you sitting here, but I can tell you, if I were to see you, which I won't, in a private situation, and when I say I can't diagnose you, to do that, I would probably put you through a very extensive battery of psychometric tools. I would do a structured interview. I would do all kinds of things and come up with some diagnostic conclusion. But I can tell you what would be on the short list at the beginning. It would be sociopathic personality, antisocial personality, borderline personality disorders, all of these things that have to do, narcissistic personality, all of these things that have to do with a lack of appropriate social emotional development, all tied together by immaturity. Here's the problem. People like that, if you did fit one of those criteria, sometimes they tend to get worse, not better in therapy, because all they do is learn how to mimic what they're not doing, and it makes them better con men. So you have to have a really good, savvy person that teaches you what you really need, and that is to have enough self-regard that you don't feel the need to lie. That's the issue here. You're smart enough to know that lying is wrong. You're smart enough to know that it hurts people. What you don't have is the confidence to say, you know what? I'm going to take the risk of being me and find out whether they'll let me hang around just for being me without having to embellish the story. And that's a risk you haven't been willing to take. And I am willing to handpick you some professional help, someone that won't buy into, be conned by, or let you slide, and get you some help to learn how to relate as who you are and get your self-esteem to the point that you don't feel the need to lie. But if you're willing to work at it, I will get you someone that will find out what's going on and help you. But I'll tell you what, it's going to require a lot of transparency, and they're going to hold your feet to the fire. And you start playing games, I will instruct them to kick you to the curb in a New York minute. But if you're willing to do the work, I'll get you a really top-notch professional that will work with you. You willing to take that help?
Absolutely.
All right, fair enough. All right, we'll do it. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and don't forget to subscribe to my new podcast called Fill in the Blanks. We'll see you next time.